All right, good day, everyone. Welcome to Conversations on Retail. My name is Matt Pfeiffer. I'm here with an old friend and a couple of new ones to talk today about how real-time retail intelligence, leveraging AI, is changing the game for CPG brands. So let's talk a little bit about Storesight. Formed by the merger of Field Agent and Shelfgram, Storesight sets the standard for always-on retail intelligence. With a combination of advanced AI, an intuitive platform, and a massive field network, Storesight empowers CPG brands to enhance OSA, drive flawless execution, manage price, and launch new products at scale faster than ever. Storesight captures shelf conditions across 480 categories, 5,000 brands, and 50,000 locations, and is trusted by 95% of the top 50 CPG firms in North America. So, gentlemen, welcome. It's great to see you all. Let's start with Henry. Introduce yourself and talk a little bit about Field Agent and your journey to this point.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, thanks for that. My name's Henry Ho, and I am one of the co-founders of Field Agent, and I am the Chief Strategy Officer at Storesight. The journey started back in 2009 when we don't have the technology that we had today. And I was at lunch with a friend, and we were lamenting on the quality of data and the lack of insight in the retail industry. And the iPhone was a new thing back then. I had an iPhone 3GS and did very little. But during that conversation, we came up with this idea that, hey, we could leverage this piece of technology now that's going to be in the hands of everyday shoppers to help us collect real life information in store. And that led to the creation of Field Agent, which was at the time was crowdsourcing everyday shoppers that were pervasively across all of America, that we could get to collect information, unbiased information for us. And the rest is history. We started doing business with just about everybody in the CPG industry.
Yeah. I remember vividly to this day waking up that Saturday morning and seeing Field Agent in the Apple stores. Like, this changes everything. Yeah. I mean, sincerely, it was an amazing moment.
It was a fun time because we brought the first app that paid people real money to do little tasks. Others like Uber and Airbnb came along too. We were contemporaries at the time.
Absolutely. So, Bram Warshafsky, it's great to meet you, the founder of Shelfgram. Tell us a little bit about Shelfgram and about your journey.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So I come from CPG as well. I was a brand manager. And the big thing that I realized is I had amazing shipment data. I knew what left my warehouses. I had really good POS data. I knew kind of what happened with consumption. But what happened in between was kind of this black box. And the solution was to do a store check. So I got to get in my car, drive around for the afternoon and see what's happening in the wild. But I just didn't do it all that often because I was so busy. And it was kind of always the same store across the street from the office over and over again. Yeah. I didn't know what was happening outside of that. And I just thought, it'd be awesome if I could, from my laptop, fly across the country to see what my shoppers are seeing. And if I could time travel to see the evolution of the shelf. And if over time I had this AI assistant helping me out, we would supercharge that capability and I would get all the qualitative context to better understand my quantitative data. So I got introduced to Henry and the good team at Field Agent, and we just started collaborating. We got a product in the market that customers loved, and slowly we realized that we'd be better as one company.
Yeah. So, Ty Kasperbauer, you're the sort of third member of this team. This is kind of your chocolate is in my peanut butter sort of moment for those old enough to remember that reference. You're the one that sort of had the big vision for what bringing this together might look like. Talk a little bit about that vision.
Yeah. No, I got to come into this kind of after, as Bram mentioned there, this partnership had developed between the two companies. So probably helpful, just a little bit of context on my background, and it kind of sets the stage on this. So I've spent the last a little over 20 years as a software operator. Been just very fortunate to be a part of some companies that had extraordinary success, revolutionizing and transforming different industries, as well as just touching a ton of businesses. Deeply involved with over 30 B2B software companies to this point. I became aware of Field Agent and Shelfgram actually through our growth equity sponsor, 5 Elms Capital. And there was this thing starting to develop that they wanted me to take a look at here. And the funny little story here is that prior to being a software company operator, I actually started my career in CPG. So my first job was a role that no longer exists, but as a territory manager in Western Pennsylvania and West Virginia for Revlon Consumer Products. And so I spent the first 6 years of my career kind of rising the ranks in that organization. So the punchline there is I just had this kind of inside baseball context to take a look at what was happening. So coming from those 2 points of view and those frameworks, I got to take a look at this thing, and it was pretty exciting. In ways, again, having seen so many different businesses, like you see some kind of rare things. The big thing I saw here, one is like you talk to anybody that's in the investment community, they're looking for the markets. And so big markets, big problems. Like kind of speaking the industry here, like this thing is like as old as time and only gotten worse, right? Because we don't have territory managers anymore. You can't, put your field force out there every day. I saw 2 companies that were really special unto themselves. And so, but, within that, you've got, Field Agent, which has spent the last 15 years being the leader in acquiring data. It is a massive data acquisition engine like no other. All right. And so we are in stores constantly every day getting that data. And then you've got this really novel new technology, this powerful platform that is also actually super easy to use and fun, quite frankly, together. And all of a sudden you have this whole new solution and way to engage around real-time data in there. And then, then you kind of bring this AI thing into it. And so, in my experience, I was there when the internet was starting to become a thing. I was there when the iPhone became a thing, and companies like Field Agent took these technologies, saw them in the big picture and applied them to these real problems in industry and created these remarkable solutions. AI is like that one of those moments times like 1,000. And so seeing that catalyst for what we can do to really open up and lift the veil on his door is remarkable. And then lastly, look, I mean, it's, you get, all that stuff's great. You need to have a team that can do it. And so you get in and you meet these folks, and it's a special group. So all those things came together, and I was doing backflips to come join the company.
Yeah, very excited. Well, let's get into the weeds of this thing. What does Storesight do? Who's it built for? And what major problems are you working to solve?
Storesight is built by operators for operators. We understand the problems that our customers have, and we know how to now bring the collections and the AI together to bring real life ground truth insights about what's happening in the store. As Bram mentioned, people don't know what's in store anymore. They don't get out to stores, and they spend their time really just analyzing POS data that tells you the what. We are bringing a solution that tells you the why.
Tom mentioned a moment ago that he come from a CPG background. You two did as well. Talk about the sort of the value that brings and how the experience influenced the creation of Storesight.
Yeah, Matt, for me, I started coming down to Northwest Arkansas back in 1988 when it was called, Vietnam. I was I called it my first international assignment. And I was with Procter & Gamble at the time. I had 19 years with P&G, was a founding member of the P&G Walmart team. That team was known for innovation and change. So that was kind of bred in me. And, I've been a student of retail and a Walmart and the supplier community for over 35 years.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
And just to build on what Henry's saying, the platform's built from the ground up, purpose built for CPG. We haven't white labeled a BI. So it's the nuances of all the different workflows you'd be doing as a category manager or a brand manager or a sales manager. And then just a really deep understanding of like, how do we design the algorithm for a share of shelf calculation? So having the industry expertise directly on the team has been amazing.
I love having the brand headquarters point of view that Bram brings to the party. It's sometimes us guys out in the field offices, we get a silo field perspective, and when Bram and I come together, it's really special. We start seeing things that I think are very unique, and we bring solutions to that.
I cannot emphasize that point enough. And again, like coming from the perspective of being in software for so long, like I've seen what amazing software, where it comes from. And more often than not, it's actually folks in industry understand the problems. They know they're building things that they are, solving problems for themselves, right? That have broad applicability. And that's really where amazing B2B software comes from. And so you get to see that in action here. I would also comment too, I think one of the other elements is that obviously we've got the internal expertise and, we recruit folks from industry. We believe that's like context is superpower. But we're also, and I love seeing like these guys live out in the market. Like we are, I mean, how many flights you've been on, how many headquarters you guys have been in over the last year, but that's part of it is we partner with our customers, we get engaged. We do these, we've got projects going on right now where, we are arm in arm, building technologies to solve for their specific problems, their specific initiatives, whether it be perfect store, shelf standards, promotion compliance, et cetera. Like that's just part of how we operate.
Yeah. Actually, pretty much every feature we've launched has just been co-created with one customer or another. Yeah.
Your market coverage is remarkable. 80% of the ACV, over 480 categories, 5,000 brands, 6 million photos uploaded from 50,000 locations. What does this massive coverage allow your customers to do?
They can see what's going on in the marketplace without having to travel. They have the ability to share and collaborate with both internally and externally with their retail customers. Our coverage is second to none. We're industry leaders in that space. We can get to any channel, any retailer, anytime, anywhere. So it's a powerful concept. It's as Ty said, it's a superpower that we have.
No, I look at it as it's omnipresence. Like it is you have the ability to be ever, and that's we all in CPG. Like I don't think you've met anybody in CPG who's ever said, "Yeah, I'm in stores a little too much."
Right.
You're with, it's but this is the ability to literally be in there, and have technology in there giving you insights and creating the connections.
Totally. From a tech standpoint, it's amazing because the richness of our data and all the historical data allows us to train models that are really hard for anyone else to do. It also means that the deployment is pretty much instant. So when we jump on with a customer for a demo, we're not showing them like a space we've spun up just for that demo. This is the solution they're going to get that afternoon.
Everybody in AI knows that the more data that you have, the better the model. And again, we have data second to none. So we have a strategic advantage coming together and the way we're approaching the market.
Yeah. No, I think Henry, you're 100% right. I think I'd also add to that too. It's the context. This goes back to, AI, these generalized tools. It's about how you take those and put them to play within, solving the problems that we understand.
Yeah. And Matt, like retail, it seems sort of simple, like go capture a couple pictures of the planogram, but it's pretty chaotic when you get into out of stocks and reflections and, different sized items and price tags. And it's, so getting a high volume of data is like amazing. It makes my life a lot easier on the product side.
You kind of you're touching the tip of the iceberg on this one, and this is what gets me, just thrills me today is AI is enabling us to take those images, like those are deeply rich pieces of like metadata.
Totally. It's like a vessel of information that we're mining. And as new models come out, we just get to go another layer deeper. And we never get rid of the historical data. So we find ourselves constantly, just new model comes out, we apply it, loop over historical data, and retroactively unlock some new insight.
We've come pretty far, but we're really just starting.
Yeah.
And so the things that we're doing now, a year after the merger of the two companies, is blowing me away, and I think when we show that to our customers, they're starting to see, okay, these guys are up to something. Our share shelf model that we're co-developing with a couple of customers, they're really excited about this.
So cool.
Yeah. But it's unlocking. I mean, there's this massive data asset out there. If you can take command of all those images, the capture of them constantly, as well as the comparison to historical, like that it's unprecedented.
I know a misconception that I would guess that you wrestled with for a long time, maybe not so much anymore, is, being founded in Northwest Arkansas and so much of your business being in Northwest Arkansas, 50,000 store locations. You guys are well beyond the Walmart ecosystem. It's just amazing, amazing. So Henry, you mentioned earlier in the conversation about how Storesight is helping brands understand the why. Talk a little bit more about what that means and how it drives better decision making, and maybe even offer some examples of some of the benefits of how you're helping customers.
Yeah, there's the what. Right. We talk about the shipment data.
Yeah.
You know what went into that retail distribution center, what's shipped. And then you have POS data that comes out is what the consumer bought. Really valuable information. And so much of that is looking backwards, is looking in the rearview mirror. We bring a solution that says, let us show you what's happening right in front of you. And so why is your business up or down? Well, that's because maybe there's some competitive activity that's taking place that you didn't see.
Yeah.
You couldn't see. It was in Indiana. It was in, somewhere in Pennsylvania or in New Mexico, wherever it is. People discover these competitive insights in our model. Or, hey, a competitor introduced new items. They're making pricing adjustments in this market or in this region. We bring all of that. We also show you whether your program that you pay, $500,000, $1 million for, is it executing and at what percentage? There's a notion when we first started Field Agent that, the good retailers were executing at kind of the 65% range. And, the ones that were struggling were in 40% or less execution. Yeah. Well, I think execution is degraded over time, not improved. And so now we give tools for our customers to be able to take real insights, real data, objective data that they can work with to improve execution.
Yeah.
Matt, I'll just add, it's such a powerful analysis, because if you know that, you gained a couple points of market share in a certain region with a certain retailer over a certain time period, and maybe you lost somewhere else, the ability to time travel and filter and go back and replay what the shopper saw. Now hey, when we're on this shelf adjacent to this product at this price point, sales go up 6.5%. When these three things go wrong, they go down 4.5%. Okay, cool, right? Now you know what to do.
Yeah, adjacencies and shelf positioning is some of the things that we give to our customers. We have this the heat map, and we have the ability to go and see who you're next to. As everybody in CPG knows that who you're next to matters. Right. And so when planograms and modulars reset, everybody wants to know what's going on.
Yeah. Location. Yeah. Walk us through how the data is crowdsourced and maybe give us some examples of what it is your customers are looking for. And you've touched on that, but maybe go a little bit deeper.
Yeah, well, basically we develop a quota system where we're reaching all the right locations in the right proportion over time. So that we balance that so many different ways, obviously by retailer banner, by location, even things like level of urbanization. So we get to rural stores where odds are no one has been there for a long time, but you got real shoppers buying your products. You got to see what's going on. All that data streams live into the Storesight platform, where we use basically the latest in machine learning to extract as much insight as we can. So that's things like automating price checks, share shelf calculations, on-shelf availability. Henry mentioned adjacencies. There's so much more. We really support CPGs across their 4P strategy. And then within that interface, you can run all sorts of cool analytics. That's a big focus for us moving forward. And we automate a lot of the workflows. So one of the specific features users really love is our instant PowerPoint download. So if you got a buyer meeting coming up, you can kind of kickstart that and just in one click kind of export your sales story and confidently walk in with a common understanding of what's happening in the category.
Matt, this is the point where I say, hey, look, give me like 2 minutes to talk about the old Field Agent model. That is a customized audit model, right? Storesight is providing the AI engine and a consistent, always-on data model. But there are times where the field agent capability of going out and into an area where a customer has no visibility. Right now, there's a project going on. We're going into 12,000 stores for a customer in the convenience channel. Well, who can do that? Well, the only answer is
Yeah.
Field Agent can do that,
Yeah.
right? Storesight can do that. And so I pause for a second is that capability still exists in Storesight. But the model that we have with the AI engine gives you that always on.
Yep.
We're in every channel. We're in all the key retailers. And if you need more, Field Agent's there to get you more.
Yeah. I like to think about it as, there's really the two models there. And you've got, through the Storesight AI platform now, your access to really is a syndicated data source, right? I mean, that's as we're collecting for these categories and you have your sample there. And what Henry's talking about is we're also, and we've been for 15 years, have been helping brands create their own first party data, where again, we're creating this massive data set around those 12,000 stores for that manufacturer in the convenience channel. And it's more than just the collections. On top of that, it's the analytics and insights that we support there. So it's really the power of those two solutions is this kind of comprehensive retail intelligence platform for brands.
Yeah. Consistency in the data collections process is a real capability that brands are looking for. Many brands have to work with different brokers and different merchandising companies to collect information in the field, and it comes in all kinds of different ways. We bring a consistent, proven, everyday model that says if you need it, we are going out and collecting it consistently across the country in every location. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Unbiased source of truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just give you an example of how those two capabilities work really well together. We had a customer who was using our platform through the syndicated model, noticed one or two of their displays were breaking, but they weren't quite sure if that was just at, say, that one retailer or if this is an issue with their like pre-pack and display supplier. And they were able to use the crowd model to say, go and find this picture of this display everywhere and, quickly validate or invalidate what's going on.
Yeah. Ty mentioned ground truth. We have a customer in the packaged goods industry, and I remember getting calls from buyers back in my day. People still get those calls and say, "Hey, I got some information that your competitor took the price down, or my competitor took the price down in this store in the Northeast." And I need you to give me a rollback or a temporary price reduction. All of a sudden, you're like, what's going on? You're scrambling. You're trying to figure it out. Well, one of our clients got that call, went into Storesight, and within minutes was able to piece together what was happening. It was a very isolated situation, and provided the data back to the buyer and said, hey, it's not happening nationally.
Yeah.
It's a very isolated situation. Saved themselves $750,000 in a TPR.
Yeah.
That's real money as real results.
Absolutely.
Matt, when we deploy, we provide unlimited user seats. And one of the most fun things is going to a customer office and walking around, and people will stop you and be like, "Oh, you're the person from that company. I got to tell you what I did with this thing. It's awesome."
They recognize him. He's like, they're famous.
So talk about the customer engagement and how they interact with the platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Our customers are wanting to deploy AI in their companies. It's, if you haven't heard about it, it's the thing, right? Unlimited seats. We provide customer success support like nobody else. So we recently went with a Fortune 50 company in their national sales meeting, and they had us come in and train their entire sales organization and leadership team on the Storesight platform. That enables that entire organization now to be retail smart about what's going on. And think about the power of everybody in your organization that now has ground truth and they're retail smart in doing the everyday job.
Yeah.
That's what we bring to the market.
I'll just add a couple things to that. Like we see like lots of different use cases. So for sales, it's often support for buyer meetings, marketing, competitive intelligence. Catman tends to be kind of the main users. But it's not uncommon for us to have, say, 300-500 users at a company now working off that common understanding of the category culturally. That's in every meeting now, it's no longer like, well, I don't know, I went to this store, you went to that store. You just get the answer immediately and make better decisions. We even see like, we've seen like legal come into the platform. Marketing saying, hey, we want to make a risky claim, non-toxic for kids.
Yeah.
Legal will use our tech search feature to see if there's precedent for that in the marketplace and help assess the risk. So all sorts of cool use cases being unlocked.
Supply chain is using it, you know, so many different functions.
Who in CPG doesn't need to be in store?
Right. Yeah.
And so,
Well put.
if we can all converge around 400, 500, 1,000 stores, real data, real time, like you've got a common source of truth. Like, and that's so hard in business today is just what is the actual truth? Like, what is our,
People who are on the C-suite listening to this podcast, that is a game changer for your organization.
Yeah.
We need senior leadership that sees that opportunity. And every AI paper that's out there now, it says you need to train the entire organization on leveraging AI. Well, we're one of those tools, not the only tool, but we're one of those tools. So C-suite people, get on it. Leverage it across your entire organization.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be in the store.
Yeah. Well, the important thing to do, again, kind of putting on my hat from coming from other industries, different levels of kind of just the complexity of software. Sometimes that can be scary. Okay, you're talking about an enterprise system. I got to go deploy this. Like, oh my, like this can take a year. Like, I'm talking about how long it takes us to activate 100 employees in a company.
Yeah, it's like pretty much right away because we have consumer level UX. So people love it. As Ty mentioned at the beginning, it's kind of fun. And we find it just organically spreads. People start sharing photos with each other. And oftentimes customers will show up to our formal training sessions being like, oh yeah, I already figured it out. I just have a couple of specific questions.
Yeah, that is one of the most powerful pieces. This is, you literally just, people sign up and they're good. Yeah. There's a lot, we help them unlock more and more, but it's part of the brilliance in it. And part of the strategy here is like, software doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like,
it can be powerful and it can be fun, but it is like, people actually, one of the most interesting things I saw when we started to look at this was the fervor that customers had. Like, this is, you've got consumer level kind of raving fans around this.
Yeah. It's things like dark mode, keyboard shortcuts, just all those little things. But, we've really built it that way. In fact, the first hire at Shelfgram was a designer. So since the beginning, that's been a huge focus, is making this like just a frictionless experience to get going.
Yeah.
My sense is you've got something for just about everybody, but is there a sweet spot? Is there a team that's a better fit, a category, a size, stage?
It reminds me of when we first started with Field Agent. People didn't know where to put us because, we weren't merchandisers who were going into stores and touching the product, but we could collect information like a merchandising team, but we weren't. So their budgets are still trying to figure that out. To answer your question, we think our sweet spot is in the category management function. They typically buy data tools and syndicated data.
Okay.
And so that's where budgets tend to come from. But we're right now working with a beverage company that is mostly thinking they're excellent in store operations and execution. Well, they want to use our tool from a store operations and execution standpoint. It's built for that too. And so store ops, sales, category management.
And then you also got, so those dead sweet spot, but again, like who in enterprise needs to be in store? I think you see, we've got folks coming from brand. They're coming in because it gives them this global view. They can look internationally even with certain photos. So
we're talking to a major CPG company. Their shopper marketing group is the one that is pulling us in. So we enter every different way, but we do have a couple of sweet spots that we're directly working with.
Bram sort of gave it away a little bit earlier, but when I hear this, I think, man, this has got to be cost prohibitive. This has got to be expensive. And you alluded earlier to unlimited, seats. Talk a little bit about the cost model, maybe not the pricing model, but sort of the financial considerations for a company looking at this investment.
We want to make this accessible. This was part of the strategy from the get-go. And that's what you get with a syndicated data model. Yeah. Right. Well, the key is, so when you get in there and with the unlimited seats, it becomes, ridiculously obvious to have this integrated as a part of your company systems.
So Ty says ridiculously obvious. I say it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is literally a no-brainer for us because we charge by category. And it's so reasonable. Actually, I think some people look at it and it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our goal is democratizing this data so that everybody, whether you're a small company or the biggest CPG companies, and we do work with both.
Yeah.
And as long as you're in the category, as long as you need that data, it's available to you.
Yeah. So speaking of data, there's obviously a lot of different sources of data. Do you see this as being competitive or complementary?
It's a good question. I suppose competitive with respect to budget, but it's pretty complementary. I think what, the in-store data allows you to do is put qualitative weights on your quantitative data and understand what's just like a fancy math correlation, what's actually driving the business. Yeah. So we've seen a lot of customers just fully integrate us into their monthly reporting process, into their BI dashboards, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, it is a new category. It's a new category product. Like there is not in-store data
exist.
We are creating this brand new data asset of what's happening in the real time. So it is changed. Like the industry is going to change because of this.
Yeah.
In the industry, when I go and talk to customers, I see a whole range of things happening. Smaller companies, they don't have the resources or the money to go figure out how to build their own bespoke data lakes and in-store platform. I mean, their own platforms. The top probably 20 CPG companies, they're trying. And I always sit across senior executives and I say, are you in the buy or build mode? And many of them are in the build. And everybody in every phase of technology change, there are people who are trying to do the build versus the buy.
Yeah.
And for different reasons. But when I hear about what they're building and what we have, they're complementary. They're not competitive. Sometimes they feel threatened because in the early stages, you're going to need those resources to build. And so anything that takes away from the internal build seems like it's competitive. But we're democratizing retail intelligence in a way that their bespoke models are really developed for, the data scientists and analysts within the company. And it's very different. So we're trying to penetrate people to say, hey, that perfect store or the realogram or whatever the industry internal conversations are, we can coexist. In fact, the cost of our model is like a drop in the bucket for what you're investing. You should democratize this across the entire sales organization.
Yeah.
Right.
And activate it.
Yeah. Activate it like
Honestly, about the way we've grown is just through like industry turnover. People go from being a customer to a new company. They call us up usually in the first week and they say, hey, I'm already sold. Just can you do a demo for my colleagues and tell me what this costs? I can't see the shelves anymore. I don't know how to do my job.
Yeah. It's that's a pretty cool experience for them. Something because it's again, it's an exciting technology to bring into a company. Again, when you get that customer fervor, like it spreads, like it's a pretty cool move for someone stepping into a new company.
Sure.
Bram and I get geekish from time to time. When he'll send me like, hey, this person on LinkedIn just said that they've been trained in Shelfgram. Like this is a tool and skill set that they're proud of. That they're putting on LinkedIn. And I'm like, that is the vision. That is the vision.
We acquired a customer where somebody interviewed someone and was asking them about tell me about a time you used like AI to do something really cool. And I don't know if they got the job in the end, but we got a call after that and got a nice sales lead, which we closed.
No, we just were like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So you're already partially answering my next question. So many people know you as Shelfgram and know you as Field Agent. How has the market received this joint effort and this rebranding?
We have a marketing company that's been doing some research for us, and everybody is saying this makes sense. Storesight makes sense in the context of what you guys are bringing. It was an epiphany in our marketing session where the coin dropped when we saw Storesight as a potential brand name for us. It was like, that's it. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's who we
fit on a lot of different levels. So, yeah.
Ty, I've heard you say that this is a real turning point in how retail works and who wins. The future of retail intelligence is here. Talk more about that.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, that's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things. Like, look, I think as you're seeing like this new data availability. It's creating a level of agility in retail that didn't exist before. I mean, part of my job as a CEO is I have to come up with terrible sports metaphors. So I look at this, and as I've kind of internalized it, I think of, the past was, retail's kind of managing your game via like last week's box scores, and now this is you've got an in-game coaching tool, right? We're seeing what's happening right here, right now. And so it's a whole new way to operate. It's a whole new way to interact. I think this will, it lead to, I think, an evolution of the buyer and manufacturer relationship and how they work together, converging around this ground truth in the moment versus, again, last month's box scores. Yeah. I think this, we're talking about democratization of data and accessibility here. This is not just a platform for the top 50 or 100 brands. This is for everybody. And so, I think you're going to see, it's like everything we're talking about in AI now, it's, there's going to be a separation. There are going to be the brands, people's teams who adopt AI technologies and embrace them. And it's going to be a superpower, and it's going to accelerate. And the folks who lag behind are going to fall way behind. Yeah. Right. And so I think that's the opportunity here. I think we're going to see some, brands that really leverage this to really jumpstart their position. So I think that's going to be, I think there's going to be a sifting, if you will, because of that.
Yeah. We're seeing, in addition to across categories, across retailers, we're also seeing people interested across countries. So this is truly a global tool. We still have to build out a lot of that capability, but we do business out in 7 countries outside of the U.S. Yeah. I don't think everybody knows that, but this is the time where we do 7. Yeah, we do business across the world. Yeah. And we can bring that capability in near record time as well across countries.
Yeah, we've got some really cool case studies around that where, I mean, some of our customers are just so big, they don't even know what's going on within their own company, but examples where, Walmart will say, hey, we want to win here. Can you come to us with some ideas? And maybe in Walmart, Mexico, they're doing something really interesting, or there's a new forefoot set that launched. And that manufacturer can get in touch with the local Catman team, pull the financials, pull the planogram, come with a localized recommendation and say, hey, if you take this recommendation, you can expect to see X point Y% growth, and retailers blown away. All sorts of cool things like that.
Yeah. Maybe a dumb question because this, Storesight is still very much new news, but what's next?
Yeah. Well, look, I think we've been on a tremendous run. This last year has been, frankly, thrilling. And so we're continuing to invest in the growth of the business and in particular around the technologies. And so look, this AI technology is moving so fast, and we've got a team of folks that are on top of that, building solutions based upon what becomes available every day. So we're going to continue to invest there. You're going to see us more and more in market. Like we are excited and evangelizing. This is an extraordinary time. So you'll see us everywhere. And look, I think when it comes down to it, we're going to continue to focus on building solutions to the problems within CPG. So you're going to see, I can't wait for us to be releasing our new data asset and share a shelf, OSA, all these kind of key benchmark analytics that really set the standard for the industry here.
Yeah, no one's really had that. You'd show up to a retailer, and even a metric like that, it gets measured so many different ways. And there's so many different category nuances. And so the ability to train across the board and get the industry talking on a consistent metric, similar to almost what Nielsen did with ACV. We all know what ACV is. We all understand that. We don't have that in our language as manufacturers and retailers for some of these in-store metrics, and nobody's better poised to deliver that than us.
So the vision is there will come a day where the ability to look at retail KPIs get standardized across retail. Yeah. What is your share of shelf? As Bram mentioned, it's whatever, a brand or a retailer wants to define it as. We now have the ability to say, hey, this is the way consistently applied across categories and retailers. We now have ability to say, hey, retailer A has this share of shelf and retailer B has the share of shelf. And now we have a consistent way of measuring it. Yeah. My hope is that we'll get to see that in the near future. So that as an industry leader, we want to bring the industry CPG leaders and retailer leaders to come in and let's start thinking about that. Let's co-design that.
Yeah, I'll just add, this wasn't possible even a few years ago, right? You could do kind of highly specific projects where there's an FTE from the customer helping you out and giving you product packaging and things like that. But to do this at scale across every category, every retailer, just wasn't possible. And it's only in the last little bit that the technology's been released where this feels very attainable and we're doing it.
In the real time. Like, I think that's the key too. It's like, anybody can go, charter, kind of sponsor this massive, annual survey to go find these things out. Like, we are doing this across hundreds of stores, like right now.
Yeah, I can remember back in the day, customer profitability was a thing, right? Hey, how do you measure customer profitability? Well, we want to be able to bring that and say, hey, which retailer or what categories do you want to invest in that are better at these metrics, right? Yeah. If somebody's better and has inventory and execution in a way that is better for your brand, let's overinvest there.
Yeah, or even like, hey, retailer, we see you're struggling with OSA in the Northeast. We have supply, give us a purchase order. Let's fill these voids on your shelf. Then not only do you get the revenue, but you get the data. And what if the data shows your velocity is a little bit better than a local competitor?
Yeah.
Make the case, take them off the shelf.
Yeah.
None of this is possible. But again, it's that real-time at-scale nature of a consistent metric that's going to unlock all sorts of new business cases.
Yeah. And I think you asked the question, okay, what's in the future? I think the next piece here, look, one of the keys to the value of AI is really it's unlocking the superpowers for people. People are scared right now. Is it going to take my job? I don't think that's the case. This for those who embrace it, this AI is about your own, just emboldening your own agency. And so what you'll see from our solutions will be this jet fuel for you. Like our it's going to open up time in your day to go do more, to get deeper. It's going to go out there. It's going to be agents for you in the market.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, Matt, just an FYI, a competitor launched a display program in this region at this retailer. Here's what it's all about. And then you're like, oh, cool. Now I know about that. I can react in real time.
It's a gift. It's truly a gift, right? You've probably heard me say, always bring a gift to your buyer. Bring some insight from the field that is something that they wish they had. And then it gives you a whole different talk track with that customer of yours about, hey, what can we do to help you grow the business or improve execution, improve profitability. It's a whole different relationship build. Let's bring gifts.
I think we should just double click on that because back when I was a brand manager, I'd get my POS data and sort of spin it to make it seem like I'm driving the category, but I ought to deserve more in-store support.
Yeah.
And then I'd go and meet with the buyer. And when we would leave, in the parking lot, you sort of cross paths with the big, bad, evil, existential number one competitor. Guess what they did with the same POS data? Spun in the opposite direction. So now you're the buyer. You've seen the same little footnote, but opposite charts. You're not going to trust it. But when you come in with a differentiated story, a gift, as Henry calls it, you're going to get a different outcome. Yeah.
So if I'm a key account manager or a category manager, what's the very best way for me to engage with your organization?
I would say slow down, think about what you need, and know that Storesight is already here and it's on. And all the things that we just talked about, a simple phone call, we can turn on a category tomorrow, the majority of them. Yeah. And so it's very easy. And I wish more salespeople were tapping into it. They're just so busy looking at reports and they're not getting out to the stores. Now we make it easy for you to get out to stores.
Storesight.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Guys, it's great to connect. Henry, it's been so much fun watching you and Rick and the team enjoy so many successes and consistency as you built on this market. It's for what it's worth, super proud of you all. And Bram, it's great to meet you. Congratulations in your own right. And Ty, congratulations on bringing this all together. Super excited to see what the future holds.
As somebody who's been there from the beginning, I am so excited about where we're going. And what Ty has brought and our leadership team has brought to this next phase of growth. And Bram, I just love this guy.
Well, we're having fun, man.
I mean, at this stage in my career, I'm having more fun than I've ever had.
Yeah.
So
That's all that matters. Gentlemen, good luck.
yeah.
Thanks,
Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.